two combined bands will be performing the national anthem. And Bob Wolf, I understand that we do have another little rarity here, or not rarity, but a little sideline observation that you yourself happen to be a classmate of Tommy Proko's at Duke back in 1942.
That's right. He was a great athlete there, not only in football, played other sports as well, baseball. Just taking a look at two booths down, I see that Tommy is perched up there with the sound apparatus. And how does that work down on the bench, Bob? You've an opportunity to observe the Oregon State during the year.
Well, he, of course, will sit in the booth and use just the regular telephone and headset and work with an assistant coach down on the bench. And he'll have the three fellas. He'll use his three tight ends, Len Perkovich, Doug McDougall, and Sullivan to rotate and to bring the plays in. So these fellows will be right by the coach with the phone down there. Officials are meeting with the team captains for the toss of the coin right now. The referee today is Edward Wagner, the umpire, Ed Herbert, the head linesman, Ted Spearing, the field.
We're getting set now for the kickoff to start the Rose Bowl game, and here it comes. It's a long one, going deep. It's carrying down 3 yards deep in the end zone. Being run out by Ward to the 15, to the 20, to the 20, fumbles the ball. He goes back, looks like he may have recovered it, and I believe he has. Ward, who was hit hard, as he got to the 20-yard line, the ball was jostled free, but he made a dive for the ball, and Dick Rule hit him with a jarring tackle, and Ward recovers, and Michigan fine kick. Now we're all set to go on the wing T formation, and they give this time Mr. Ward going up the left side, can't find a hole, hit as he approaches that right tackle spot, and he's hit hard and down after barely getting into the line of scrimmage and falling forward for perhaps a half yard. Big George Carr, just a sophomore, 200-pounder, and Jack Mad Dog to go. And this time, Ward is flanked out to the left as Timberlake rolls out to his right, looks for a receiver, goes, hits the receiver, Anthony, and Anthony slips as he goes along the sideline and falls down just about a yard or so. Perhaps he got across that sideline. Yes, they say that he was hit at the 26-yard line and out of bounds there, and the ball was brought in to the inbounds marker of the 26-yard line. As Henderson now is split wide to the left on the left spot. There's a quick pass over the middle, incomplete. Timberlake intended for Ward, and Ward was jostled by Rule and Sieg, and the pass was incomplete. It was a shorty, intended just to pick up that yardage for a first down along the near sideline to Austin. It's incomplete. So it's fourth down coming up, 4 to go. The ball's on the 26-yard line. For the 3rd and 4, their punting specialist, Stan Kemp, goes back into punt formation. The modified spread punt formation. One man deep blocking for him. Here's Kemp's boot. Gets off of Judy. Look at that one go. Clear catch is signaled for. Oregon State takes over on their own 36 as Dan Espelin signaled for a fair catch. And with that booming punt high up in the air, giving the M's alignment plenty of a chance to get underneath it. Espelin took no chances. He is signaled very early minutes to the Rose Bowl game from Pasadena, California. Over 100,000 people are on hand for this classic. Brothers is the quarterback. And in motion now goes the halfback Watkins. His Brothers goes back to pass, and he goes high, incomplete. Ended for Moreland, the end going out on the play, the split halfback, I should say. And it goes incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10. Rick Volk, a fine pass defender, guarding for Michigan on the play. And now we have a change in the ends that Oregon State used for the first play. In motion now goes Watkins, and the give this time is to the fullback Washington as they fumble on the play. As he hits the line of scrimmage, let's see who recovers. They untangle at the 39-yard line. Michigan takes over on the fumble by Washington as he was hit hard. Chiquini recovers the fumble for Michigan, and the Michigan Wolverines have the ball. Timberlake this time flips back to Singer. Singer finds a hole off the right side, goes forward, moves across the 35, opposition with his height. He pitches back to Detweiler. Detweiler goes off the right side this time, moves forward to the 27-yard line, where Obilovich again comes in for the stop. It's Obilovich, aided on the play by number 37, Dan Sieg, who came up from the left halfback spot. Took over the ball in the 41 in OSU territory, and they're now moving. And this time it's Ward, who shifts his way off the left side, gets inside the 25 to the 24-yard line, tackled by Al East, the big right end of the Oregon State University Beavers. Out of the ball game for Michigan comes their defensive end. Third down coming up, 4 to go. The ball at the 24 in Oregon State territory. Timberlake rolls out to his left. He keeps the ball, and he is pulled down from behind. George Carr jumps around his neck from behind, drags him down on the ground after the advance is just for a yard on the play. This Timberlake, incidentally, needs but 15 yards today to set a brand new Michigan record. Record of 17 yards standing will be broken if he can gain at least 15 yards on the ground. Field goal will be attempted now. Timberlake will attempt from the 30. There's the boot. Looks like it may go short. It does. It drops short just in front of the goal post. Escalon was back to field that one. The University of Michigan tried the field goal by Timberlake. It's all short, and Oregon State takes over at the 20. All set to go now as Oregon State takes over on the 20-yard line with 1st and 10 for the Beavers. There's no score. We're in the first quarter, and here running with the ball is Brothers. He goes skirting around the right side. He fakes reversing it. He can't find much yardage as he moves forward on the play, and as he went along the right sideline, went forward to the 24. It'll be 2nd and 6. Brought down by Simkus along with Polk. Bob Timberlake, who is the quarterback and the field goal specialist, and his try fell short. It was straight but short. This time the give is to Booker Washington, and the fullback goes off the right side, moves to the 27-yard line, picking up 3 more yards in the play. Bill Yearby, a 222 junior, brings him down. They'll make it 3rd coming up for Oregon State. 3rd and 3. There's no score. We're in the first period. Over the 41, they move down. The kick from the 30 was too short. Brothers passes, and it is incomplete. Intended for Bob Grimm as the left end. The split left end went down. The pass was high. Grimm leaped, being guarded by Dick Reinfuss on the play, and the ball fell to the ground. So the punter comes in now for Oregon State. And Reinfuss are the 2 deep men for the Wolverines. Snap from center, and here's the boot. It's almost blocked. Gets up a high kick, and it's grabbed by Sigger at the 27. He clears the 30 and goes down to the ground. Leading the charge that time was Lou Scott for the Oregon State Beavers. As a whole swarm of Beavers came down. Obilovich also came in on the play, and Sigger barely got back. Oh, there's no score in the contest. Timberlake this time, hands off quickly. The ball carrier is Anthony. Anthony crosses the 30 to the 31, where he's met by Carr, John, and Obilovich for the stop. That'll make it 2nd down coming up, and 7 to go. Deep into the other's territory. Michigan this time has Detweiler in motion. Timberlake goes back to pass, throws down the middle, and it is a completed pass. At the shoe top, Henderson made a dive for the ball and took it barely inches off the blades of grass on this beautiful turf this afternoon. Henderson with a diving catch for a 1st down for Michigan. John Henderson, who is the split end, had to dive back toward the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 at the 42. Timberlake this time rolls to his left. He fakes the pass. He keeps the ball. He goes to the 45-yard line, close to midfield before he's finally spilled by Jim Smith, the halfback coming up. This Timberlake is a tremendous threat, Bob Blackburn, with his ability to either pass or run.
I was just thinking as I was watching him run that time, Bob, that as he rolled out around the left side of the line, somebody said he'll give you that real quick shoulder, that dip, and then great.
So it's 2nd and 3, the ball's to the 39. Timberlake this time has Henderson complete for 1st down. And Henderson is down the 42-yard line. Sieg and Hartman made the stop for the Beavers as Michigan, on the strength of 2 passes now to Henderson picked up 2 first downs in a row. John Henderson, who is a 6'3", 185-pound senior. It's a first down. And this time it's a plunge through the center by Mel Anthony as Anthony gets to the 38. Norm Whitten came in that time along with Dick Rule for the stop for Oregon State. Second down coming up. 8 yards to go. The ball right now. Points. The top rusher on the team taking that ball. Timberlake slides to his left. Now he signals back to his right. He's going deep. And he's pulled for a loss. Across the 50-yard line to the 49-yard line. As Timberlake that time sliding out to his left. Couldn't find an opening. He spun around, started circling deep to his right. He was being pursued by East and by George Carr and by Greg Hartman. As the 3 men converged and threw Timberlake for the loss all the way back to his own 49-yard line. Henderson far to the left this time. Timberlake on the draw play gives off to Ward. Ward can't find an opening. Is middled after going forward for a yard to midfield as John Gould and Hartman all combine on the center of the line to drop him right there at the 50. So it's fourth down coming up. 20 yards to go, and Michigan will be forced to boot right now. 5-pound sophomore goes back to boot. And the safety man is little Dan Espelin. Here's the kick. High. End-over-end kick. Fair catch signal for. And Espelin makes the catch at the 16-yard line. Little Dan Bino Espelin. He's just 5'8", 173. He's called Bino. He's like a little Mexican jumping line. All brothers calling signals. He slides out to his left. He leaps over one man, keeps the ball. Gets up to the 20. Gets away at the 20 to the 25. Let's get around to the 27-yard line. All brothers, the sophomore, swung to his left side. Got fine blocking there by the tailback right behind the fullback. And there's a split back outside the end. This time Brothers goes back to pass. He's being rushed. All the way back to the 18-yard line. Coming in that time was Big Bill Lasky, number 83, and Jim Conley, the other end of the captain of the team, as Paul Brothers is called the loss. Bob?
Well, I think it's interesting to note here that
Change films. It's second down. They line up in punt formation, and Sigger gets off the kick. It's a spiral, which is carrying deep. The kick has gotten off out of my cart by Perkatich. Sigger watches the roll. There's a flag on the play, and looks like a personal foul may be coming up, but that ball was down to the 25-yard line in Michigan territory. So Perkatich back in punt formation. Sigger went back as the safety man, and the flag goes down on the play as that boot, which was on a second down with large yardage, went 58 yards, and a clipping penalty is the call on the play. It'll just be 2nd and 4 to go. So it's 2nd and 4, and they're going to run from this formation. As Brothers goes back to pass, he throws deep downfield, and it's complete. Complete to Grimm. Grimm is at the 45. Grimm is at the 43-yard line. That's Brothers' first completion of the afternoon. It's a big completion, putting that ball in Michigan territory for a first down. Bob Grimm brought down by Rick Polk. Bill Lasky came up to help on the play. And now it's Oregon State's ball on Michigan's 43-yard line. This time Brothers back to pass. Watts throws down the middle. And it's complete once again. This time to Moreland. The split back who is tackling his tracks to the 32-yard line as Rick Sigger comes up to make the stop. All Brothers going to the air. Moreland, the split back, who is a for the Oregon State Beavers. On the Michigan 33. In motion goes Watkins, who's the fullback. Brothers goes back to pass, and he is hit before he gets the pass off and slammed quarter. 1 second to go. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score, Michigan nothing, Oregon State nothing. There's a diving catch by Watkins as Brothers hits the mark once again. Watkins with a diving catch at the 25-yard line in Michigan territory. And Brothers going to the airwaves has now made the Oregon State offense come alive. They shuttle the ends in as cricketed on the West Coast. In that I formation, it's third down coming up in 3. In motion goes Watkins. And this time Brothers out to pass, and he throws, and it's complete in. Inside the 46 for the first down at the 17-yard line. Oregon State with a first down on the 17-yard line in Michigan territory as Paul Brothers goes to the airwaves to penetrate deep against the Wolverines. 17. Squid is the right end. Brothers rolls out to his right, keeps the ball. He's back to the 15. He's hit and he falls forward to the 14-yard line. Coming in that time was Billy Irby to still him as he fell forward, and Sigger came up to make sure he wouldn't go any further. It'll be second down coming up, and 8 to go. The ball is at the 14.5-yard line. Oregon State on the I formation. This time Bob Grimm is a split end off to the left side. And Moreland is a flanker back, or a split back to the right. Brothers back to pass. He looks to Grimm. He throws to Grimm. It's complete. And complete. Grimm is knocked out of bounds at the 7-yard line. It'll be first and goal to go for Oregon State. As the ball is brought in from out of bounds, it's spotted. With Brothers calling signals above the 5-yard line. Back to pass is Brothers. He throws. Boot. Getting set for the stop. It's placed down. Here's the kick. It is high. It is good. There's time out of the field with the score. Oregon State 7 and Michigan nothing. We pause now for station. 84 yards in 10 plays for that score, culminating with the pass to McDougal. Here is Clark's boot. Going down to the goal line, a yard deep, taken by Ward, by Detweiler. Detweiler is back to the 50, back to the 20. Still on his feet, crosses the 25 to the 28-yard line. Jim Detweiler taking that ball back. On the ball at the 28, Lou Scott made the tackle on the play. Right end is split. And this time the give is to Ward, and the speedy little halfback comes off the left side, finds a big hole, crosses the 35 to the 36-yard line. Jim Smith came up from the secondary to make the stop as the Wolverines now have the ball on their own 36. It'll be second signals in that wing tee, and this time they give once again to Ward. Ward tries to hold the left side, spins forward to a first down, keeps his feet, finally gets forward to the 46-yard line for big yardage. Paul Ward, who is a shifty right halfback, on the fake that time. Timberlake fake to the fullback, slanting off the right. Then he gave to Ward, cutting to his, picks up the first down. Timberlake rolls out to the right, looks for a receiver, can't find one, keeps the ball, goes forward and is hit hard as Al East, the left end, crashes through to make the stop, along with Ozilovich on the play. Hartman came up also to aid. Spread to the left side. And the give is to Anthony, the fullback, as Anthony gets forward for a gain of 3 yards in the play to the 49-yard line. Carr and East came in for the stop that time for the Oregon State Beavers. It'll be third down coming up and 7 to go. The ball before spread to the right. Timberlake goes back to pass. He throws, and it is complete to Farabee, the big end, who was immediately stilled in his tracks. Obilovich and Smith surrounding Farabee, big number 80. It's a first down for Michigan on the 43-yard line of Oregon State. Wide to the right. This time the give is to Carl Ward. He again cuts off the left side and comes forward to the 41-yard line. Smith, number 36, and Obilovich, number 55, both in on the play for Oregon State. Right, in the right end spot. And this time the plunge is by Anthony as he goes off the right side, met by Rosario and Gould of the Oregon State Beavers on the left side of the line. It'll be third down coming up and 6 to go. The ball right now is on the 38-yard line. Third and 6 to go. Pass play, brothers to McDougal, quick for a touchdown. Timberlake passes incomplete, intended by Henderson. And so that means there'll be fourth down coming up, Bob.
We've seen quite a bit of passing all of a sudden out here, Bob, and we might note that for Michigan, Timberlake now has completed 4 out of 6, while for Oregon State, Paul Brothers
To boot, it's 4th and 4 in this punting situation. There's the snap from center. Kemp angles it toward the sideline. It hits and goes out of bounds. And it will be brought in from out of bounds and spotted at the 14-yard line as Oregon State takes over at this point. And this time it's the give to Watkins, who is hit hard by the right side of the Michigan line and thrown for a loss on the play. Coming in from the linebacker spot, passing through Nunley and Cicchini, the two linebackers, and the loss on the play of 1 yard. Field on the play. Perkitich now leaves the ball game. McDougal comes in at that end spot. It'll be 2nd and 10. Ball at the 28-yard line. Oregon State holds a 7-0 lead. This time Grimm is a split left end. In motion goes Watkins. Brothers back to pass. Looks for Moore. Now looks for McDougal, and his pass is short to McDougal. Incomplete. McDougal tried to trap that one, but it was incomplete, so a new unit is now coming in for Oregon State with 3rd and 10. And Sigert is a lone safety for Michigan. It's a 3rd and 10 situation here. There's a beautiful spiral hard downfield. Sigert takes it on the 20. He's back to the 25, up to the sideline, gets to the 30, and is hit along the sideline at the 30 as he's knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Espelin came up to make that tackle. A 52-yard kick that time. A flag on the play. Looks like a clipping penalty against the Michigan Wolverines. And that's what
touchdown drive. Oregon State leading 7-0.
Timberlake pitches out this time to Anthony. Anthony up the right side, finds the hole. It's the 30, the 35,
against California in 1959. So with 6:34 left in the first half, it's Oregon State leading Michigan 7-6, and we're set for the kickoff.
Timberlake approaches the ball. There's the boot. It's going down to the 3-yard line. Was taken by Watkins. Watkins right back to the middle of the 50. He's hit hard at the 50. Falls forward to the 19-yard line. Rick Volk made a beautiful tackle. And that ball be spotted at the 19-yard line as Oregon State takes over. Both touchdown drives started instantly on the 16-yard line. At the 19-yard line. And this time, Brothers on the draw play ends off to Shaw. And Shaw off the left side goes forward to the 23-yard line as Shaw gets his first carry of the afternoon. Bill Keating came in to make the stop. 23-yard line. Younger brother of Tom Keating, a top tackle for the Wolverines the last season. Back in the ball game. Moreland is the split back off to the right. Brothers goes back to pass. He looks. A throw incomplete intended for Moreland. Making a dive for the ball for Michigan was Rick Volk, their defensive left halfback, but the pass was down to the ground incomplete. So it's 3rd and 7 to go. That ball right back at the 23-punt formation. He'll be standing on his own 8-yard line. Rick Sigger, a sole safety. Here's the boot on the 3rd down kick. Another high booming spiral. Beautiful boot. Carries down to 25. Sigger has it there. Back to the 30. Goes forward to the 35 and is tackled as he crosses the 35, going forward to the 38-yard line. Dennis Rosario and Norm Whitten come down for the tackle. A 52-yard boot that time as Michigan takes over at this point. Bob Wolfalo and Bob Blackburn at the Rose Bowl to give this time to Anthony. Anthony crashes off the right side again for good yardage, moving forward to the 45 this time. Oldilovich comes up with a stop. And it'll be second down coming up, and that ball spotted at the 45. 3 to go for the Wolverines, their own 45. Timberlake rolls out, he's going to pass. He throws, and it is just intended for Jim Detweiler. Overthrown just a bit as Detweiler went down the left sideline, closest to us. Jim Smith, number 36, guarding Detweiler, number 48 on the play. Big Jim Detweiler, a sophomore, who's carried the ball 70 times this past. Michigan's CD in the big game against Ohio State on a pass. Plunge off the right side this time, and the ball carrier is Dave Fisher. Hartman came in for the stop as Fisher moves that ball very close to a first down. Looking over to the sidelines, we may have a measurement, it may be short. On their own 47.5-yard line. Quarterback sneak. They may have made it. First down for Michigan. Center of the line, plug in there for Oregon State, but they couldn't stop that thrust by Big Bob Timberlake. Who likes to sneak for that yardage title with 67 points and 80 points for the year. Slides to his left, keeps the ball, and goes forward. Moving the ball into Oregon State territory at the Oregon State 46-yard line. George Carr and Jim Smith both up for the stop. And it'll be second down coming up and 5 to go. Score of the ball game is Oregon State 7, Michigan 9-yard line. Oregon State. Bob Timberlake directing that team in the wing tee. Slides to his right this time. Throws the pass to the sideline. Complete to Henderson, who was knocked out of bounds. After taking that sideline pass to the 37-yard line. This Timberlake is well worth talking about. A 3-year regular. His total offense mark is the highest in Michigan history for one season. He had 80 points this year. With 8 TD. An All-American consensus choice. He slides to his left this time. Keeps the ball. Finds a big hole. Gets to the 35, the 20, and he's brought down at the 15-yard line. Alley finally drags him down as Timberlake went back as if to pass, put the ball under his arm, went forward, but there's a flag on the play. 2 minutes and 56 seconds to go right now on this first half of play. A clipping penalty against Michigan. It'll nullify. And it's first and 16 at that point. There's a pitch out to Ward. Trying the right side. He wiggles free somehow. Gets to the 30. Gets back to the two-pointer as Timberlake goes back to pass. He throws and is knocked down as Al East knocks down the pass intended for Ben Farabee. So Michigan goes in front by a score of 12-7 in the ball game, and here's Bob Blackburn.
Bob, a long time.
That was a 43-yard touchdown play by Ward. Timberlake boots. This one is angled, and it's taken up the 7-yard line by Washington. Washington back to the 15, the 20. Here's he crosses the 20 and goes down the 25-yard line. Hit by Yearby along with Milkey, the defensive tackle and guard for Michigan. So Michigan out in front by a 12-7 score. It was amazing to see the way to the field, and he got free there and went the rest of the way to score. Brothers rolls out on the option, keeps the ball, and he's hit as he goes to the 28-yard line. Coming in was Yearby along with Simkus. Also in was Conley for the Michigan Wolverines. And we have a minute and 58 seconds left to go in the first half. Michigan leading Oregon State 12-7 in the ball game. It's second formation. Brothers call signals. Brothers this time on a flip out to Watkins, who fumbles the ball, gathers it back in, goes forward for slight yardage, and then is hit along the near the left sideline after moving forward to the 32. Dudley, Simkus, and Lasky all come in for the stop. Wide to the right in the I formation. Brothers rolls to his left. He's going to keep. He cuts over near the sidelines. It is knocked out of bounds. Close to a first down. We'll see as they bring the ball in. Where they spot that ball. Frank Nunley, the right linebacker. Over for the stop. It's a first down picked up by Brothers. Running to the weak side. The ball spotted out. That ball right now is on the 35-yard line of Oregon State. In motion goes Watkins. Brothers back to pass. Throws toward the sideline. Incomplete. Intended for Grimm, the left end. Quickie pass along that left sideline. Incomplete. It was off Grimm's hands as he reached for it. And so that's Moreland again is flanked wide on the right side. Grimm is split. Brothers back to pass. Again throws toward the sideline. And this time the end cutting over. Gets that ball on the play for a short gain as Sullivan is down at the 40-yard line. So that means with the clock rapidly running out here, 40 seconds to go in this half.
Excuse me, it isn't a dog, I don't think. You know, there's a proverbial dog that gets loose on the field. Somebody has cut loose a little pig out there.
For Oregon State with 35 seconds to go in this half. Watkins is in motion. Brothers throws down the middle. The ball incomplete. Moreland is at the 43-yard line. He's down there, and there's a flag on the play. As Moreland is down, ball be spotted at the 43-yard line. Nunley came in for the tackle that time for Michigan. The scoreboard clock stops with 23 seconds to go in the first half. Michigan is holding a 12-7 lead. A clipping penalty that's against Oregon State. 2 to go. As Brothers back to pass. Takes one pass, keeps the ball, and now goes out of bounds, stopping the clock. He saw he couldn't pick up any yardage if he tried to go forward. So he went out of bounds, stopping the clock with the ball being brought into the 40-yard line, where it's fourth down coming up. And 5 to go, and Oregon State gets set to boot here with just 17 seconds left to go in the first half of play. Len Perkatich, possession. They don't send a safety man back. And the ball goes sailing far over Seeger's head as they just let it roll. With seconds to go, it's still rolling inside the 10-yard line to the 8-yard line. That'll be down there at the 8-yard line. The scoreboard clock shows the time has run out, and that's the end of the first half with the score. Michigan 12 and Oregon State 7.
For the second half kickoff in just a moment. Captain Conley meeting with Oregon State Beavers at the middle of the field. Here's the 7-6. The conversion by Timberlake was no good. And then shortly after that, with about 2 minutes, 44 seconds left in the first half, Carl Ward, after a 15-yard penalty, had set Michigan back to the Oregon State 43-yard line, went to the far sideline, that's the east sideline, appeared to have been hit on about the 40, suddenly broke away, countered, came back across the field, and could have walked into the end zone for the touchdown that put Michigan in the lead, 12-7. And that's where we stand at halftime. Again, the officials for the game, the referee is Ed Wagner, the umpire is Ed Herbert, the head linesman Ted Fearing, the field judge Joe Snyder, the back judge Everett Bannister, and we're just about set for the second half kickoff. And here again, your play-by-play sportscaster for this afternoon, Bob Wolf.
Thank you, Bob Blackburn. All set to go now as Bob Timberlake will kick off. The Wolverines kicking off to OSU. Here's the boot by Timberlake. He hits a line drive. It's going down to the goal line. It's fumbled in the end zone by Watkins, and he downs the ball there. So that'll be brought out to the 20-yard line where Oregon State will put the ball in play. Well, we've talked a lot today about these rival quarterbacks. Paul Brothers of Oregon State, who is second in scoring on his team. Kicker Steve Clark is first, but Brothers is first in rushing for the Beavers. The I formation, Oregon State's ball, first and 10 on their own 20. Michigan leading 12-7 in the ball game. Brothers back to pass. He throws. It's complete to the 33-yard line. When Perkatich leaps up to make the catch at the 33, is hit down by Lasky and Sigger on the play. And Perkatich then goes out of the ball game. As Sullivan comes in the split back wide to the right. As Brothers goes out to his left, and he's hit and thrown full on. Michigan bursting through. Bill Lasky, number 83, coming in for the stop that time, and he threw Brothers for a loss. Lasky was a 217-pound senior. Began his career as a halfback, and he switched to an... In that time, the linebacker Cicchini and Bill Keating, the right tackle. So it's third down. That ball barely brought back to the line of scrimmage after the first two plays. It's third and 10 to go. The ball right now just nosed up to the 33-yard line. Once again, Moreland is spread right as on a quick opening play. Bursting to the line is Watkins, and Watkins pulls his way forward across the 40 to the 41. Dropped at the 41-yard line, and there's little Watkins, the ball carrier. Cliff Watkins, a 5'10 junior, who is certainly one of the most improved players this year on the Oregon State team. It's fourth, 3 yards to go. The ball just across the 40, and Perkatich is back in punt formation. Safety man is number 18, Sigger, waiting for the snap from center. Here it comes, and Perkatich meets the ball. It's a end-over-end kick. Sigger waits for the ball, gathers on the 18, cuts to the 20. Now he swings back to the 15. He's running deep, and he's hit and pulled back all the way to the 12-yard line. He tried to circle his way clear, but couldn't do so. And Oregon State came down and got him on the play as Jerry Neal came in to lead the surge after that 45-yard punt to down him on the play. So now ball becomes the 12. Bob Timberlake directing that wing tee. Timberlake this time gives to Polk, and Polk running from the halfback spot is hit as he gets to the line of scrimmage and goes down with little or no gain on the play. Ward is coming back in the backfield now for the Wolverines, and Henderson is also coming in. Out of the ball game comes Lasky. Out of the ball game comes Reinfuss. And just about 10 to go. Second and 10 to go. This time the give is to the halfback Ward. Ward moves forward to the 15-yard line where he's filled. On the play this time, coming up for the stop, was the big guard on the team, Warren Cole, who came in for a hard stop on the play. And this time for Michigan. Going back to pass is Timberlake. He throws to Henderson, complete to Henderson, who takes the ball out of bounds on a short pass as he takes out of bounds on the 21-yard line. Short pass to the big end, John Henderson, out of bounds just across the 20 at the 21. Score of the ball game is Michigan 12, Oregon State 7. Kemp, waiting for the snap from center, gets off the kick. Good spiral going toward the sidelines and going out of bounds. That kick
Barely crossed the midfield stripe on the angle as it went out of bounds. And it will be brought in, put in play on the Oregon State 48-yard line. So as the Oregon State Beavers take over right now, first time is flanked wide to the right. The left end is split. Brothers this time the draw gives to Watkins. And Watkins is hit and brought down for a loss on the play as Bob Milkey comes in for the stop along with Bill Lasky for the Michigan Wolverines. Ball spotted right now at the 46-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 12 to go. The coast go at it. This time in the I formation, Brothers goes back to pass. He throws to Moreland, who makes a dive for the ball and gathers it in right at the 49-yard line. He made a fine dive of the ball, and he was right down on the ground as he gathered in the ball on the catch. That ball spotted at the 49, still in Oregon State territory. Perkatich comes in at the end spot. Sullivan goes out, and it's 3rd and 8 to go for the Beavers, who trail the ball game by a score of 12 to 7 to Michigan's Oregon State. Right halfback is flanked. Back to pass goes Brothers. He's being chased by Simkis, and he's being pulled for loss by Keating. Bill Keating, number 68, came crashing through for the tackle after Arnie Simkis, number 70, gave chase. The right guard, right tackle combining to crash through there and throw Brothers for a loss.
Bob Wolf, we're seeing right here one of the reasons why their line is put on today.
And now it's punt formation. Perkatich with a 4th and 20 situation. Back to punt. And the punt is blocked by Michigan. Bowler's fumble was a carries away the field. Michigan takes over on the 15-yard line as Mel Anthony throws to the ball. Milkey, Simkis, and Keating broke through on the right side of the line. The punt was blocked, and as the ball went pounding around, Mel Anthony fell on the ball on the Oregon State 15-yard line. So Michigan's ball is the whole right side of the Michigan line, flashed right through, ripped the Oregon State. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines on the 15-yard line. And a plunge forward is good for 2 yards as the ball carrier is Mel Anthony moving that ball from the 15 to the 13-yard line. Now going in the ball game, we have 9 coming up. Ball on the 13. Timberlake slides to the ball, and as he goes forward to the option play, he's down. As coming up for the tackle this time is Dennis Rosario, big number 65 for Oregon State. He moved the ball forward to the 12-yard line. In motion goes Detweiler, the halfback. Timberlake slides to his right. He fakes the pass. He keeps. He's at the 10, and he's filled as he gets to the 7-yard line. Bob Timberlake, after faking the pass, filled to the 7-yard line. Esplin is now coming back in for Oregon State. There'll be 4th down coming up and 2 yards to go. 4th and 2. The ball is at the 7-yard line in Oregon State territory. The big play coming up now in this ball game. 4th and 2. They give to Detweiler. He flashes off the right side for a 1st down. Jim Detweiler goes for a 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal to go at the 3-yard line. We pause now for station identification. Michigan's ball, Oregon State territory. Detweiler is the carrier off the right side, close to the goal line and still just short of the goal line. Jim Detweiler carried the ball 70 times this past year, averaging 4 yards per play and scored 3 touchdowns. The ends are alternating, bringing in plays, and Sparrowby comes back in to Smith. So from the goal, and this time the game is to the fullback once again, Anthony Sars. Mel Anthony, who recovers.
An offense this afternoon, really the difference in this game so far.
Timberlake running for the 2 points, and he looks like he may be short, or has got over. He goes over.
is kicked off, and Watkins takes the ball on the 5 back to the 32-yard line, while Oregon State takes over first and 10. Brothers passes, and it is incomplete. Intended for Bob Grimm. It'll be second down coming up and 10 to go. Watkins taking the Timberlake kickoff is a 5-yard line, moving it 27 yards to the 32, and it's second and 10 now. Just edging that ball over on the two-point conversion try to run up the last 2 points. Brothers back to pass, throws deep, incomplete. Intended for Bob Grimm, who was being closely guarded by Dick Reinfuss on the play. So that makes it third down. They like to drop those ends off also. Conley and Lasky to help protect in pass situations. Here's a draw play, and the give is to Shaw. Shaw cuts off the right side and is knocked out of bounds after crossing the 35-yard line. Driven out of bounds to the 38-yard line by Rick Volk of the Wolverines, along with Tom Cicchini. So that makes it fourth down coming up for Oregon State. And in for the Oregon State Beavers, we have Perkatich. Seeger goes to the 38-yard line in state territory as Perkatich is back to do the booting. As a snap from center, here's the kick. He gets off a long, beautiful spiral, carrying all the way down to the 10. Seeger's back to the 15 to 20. Always hit hard as he crosses the 20-yard line. Coming now is Norm Whitten, big number 78, for a crashing tackle. The 235-pound, 6'2" junior, and the ball be spotted to the 22. That was a 52-yard boot by Perkatich. So the Michigan on their own 22. First down play, and the give this time is to Ward. Ward goes off the left side and moves that ball from the 22 to the 29-yard line before Jim Smith comes up to make the stop for Oregon State. This Ward has been a fine runner, and oddly, Ward, who has been known during the season for his blocking, has had but 90 activity this afternoon, and he is certainly cashing in on it. Timberlake back to pass. He throws, and it is complete to Detweiler. Detweiler's at midfield, the 45, and he's knocked out of the 42-yard line. Coming up for the tackle that time was East, along with Sieg and Espelin. For the Wolverines on the Oregon State 42. This time it's Volk, the ball carrier, and as he tries to cut in off his right tackle, he spills and goes down after a gain of a yard on the play. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line. Gould and Rule came in for the stop for the Oregon State Michigan 20 and Oregon State 7. 3:39 to go in this third quarter of play. Timberlake slides, keeps, and goes forward across the 35 to the 34-yard line. Big 6'4", 215-pound back. He's tough to bring down. Timberlake has 4 to go. In motion goes Volk, the left halfback, moving off to his right. Timberlake back to pass, throws down the middle, incomplete. And there's a flag on the play. Intended for Henderson. A pass interference penalty is called. Jim Smith was up to cover on the play. 10 on the Oregon State 25. There's a wide pitch out to Ward. Ward off the right side. Going down that sidelines and picks up good yardage before he's knocked out of bounds. How that fella can scoot this ball to the 14-yard line. Tom Mount came over to lead the interference on the play. He is the son of Roy Mack, Cleveland Indians baseball fame, and he opened up that right side for the Wolverines. And this time, just to the fullback kicker, who rams his way forward inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Dave Fisher, who is a 210-pound, 5'10" back, ramming his way forward, and he's beautiful down. The ball on the 8. This time, once again, it's a touchdown of Anthony Starr. On his third touchdown of the afternoon, goes into Starr, and Michigan goes in front 26-7. Athletic director will hold. Bob Timberlake will kick. There's the boot. There's a flag on the play, and he kicks. that's been given here is offside in the play against the Michigan Wolverines. Oregon State offside. Now the signal was given. The kick is good. So the kick is good, and Michigan leads by a score of 27-7. Getting set to boot. Gets a low line drive, which is taken on the 2-yard line. Running with the ball now. Chris Watkins brings that ball back to the 23-yard line, and OSU takes over at that point. So it's 1st and 10 for the Beavers. Now Brothers fades to his left, and he pitches back to Watkins. Watkins tries the left side, is thrown out of bounds by Frank Nunley. With Bill Lasky also over. And Lasky was shaken up on the play. So he's coming back with his line. 2nd down, 7 to go. Brothers throws, and it is incomplete, almost intercepted. Intended for Perkins. The ball bounded up in the air, fell to the ground, almost intercepted as Reinfuss was coming up on the play, number 17. Frank Nunley rushing the pass that time. So it's 3rd and 7. The ball is at the 25-yard line. Oregon State is spread far to the right this time. In motion is Watkins, the halfback. Brothers back to pass. And he is thrown. Gets off the pass to Watkins, and he's going down. And Watkins gets back to the 32-yard line. The whistle may have blown that time because Brothers was going down on the ground with 3 men around him. His full momentum was stopped. He threw as he was going down to Watkins. But the officials for the Wolverines. With a minute left to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Snap from center, and the kick. Another beautiful long boot taken on the 27 by Sigurd. He cuts toward the sidelines, now back to the middle, gets to the 40, crosses the 40 to the 42, and goes down there after that 47-yard boot by Perkins. Colbert came up for the stop that time. Big number 79, who is a 3-year veteran, played in the Liberty Bowl a couple of years ago, nationally in rushing. And this time it's Anthony going right down the middle as he goes to the 47-yard line. Michigan was 8th in the nation in total offense. And there's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, Michigan 27, Oregon State 7. Great running quarterback and can also pass that ball. And here we have a quarterback sneak, which looks like it's picked up 4 yards as a flag on the play. As the ball is moved forward to the 44-yard line. Doug John and Jack Obilovich in for the shot. Bob Blackburn.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting. Between quarters
to go, their own 42. And this time the ball carrier is Mel Anthony once again, as the top rusher on the Michigan team moves that ball forward to the 47-yard line. Jack Mad Dog Obilovich, the tackler, he made the NEA All-America first team defense for the Oregon State University Beavers. Waiting for the pass from center. And there's the boot. It's a rather wobbly spiral which hits on the 25. It has a good roll all the way down to the 12-yard line and is down at the 13 as it rolls back on a reverse spin just 1 more yard. So Oregon State takes over, and let's see whom they put in there now after that 41-yard boot. Oregon State taking the ball, and will probably have to go to the airwaves now in order to hear last season, but has only thrown 7 passes this year, completing 3. Clean back to pass, throws towards the sideline, completes to Moreland, the flank back for little or no gain of play as Moreland on that pass out in the flat is brought down by the left halfback, Rich Vogt, number 49, going over for a quick tackle. And that ball be spotted right now. And McDougal. And clean calling signals in the I formation, back to pass, and throws it in! Complete to Glim, makes a beautiful grab, Reinfuss, number 17. The defensive back went up with him for the Wolverines. in replacing Sullivan at an end spot. And of the
Quarters, doing this half.
Back to Bob. Now we're set to go with two new ends in the ball game, a new quarterback, and Shaw, the new fullback, in motion. On the draw play, the ball is given to Booker Washington, and he is thrown for a loss. Coming in was big number 94, Jerry Mader, to lead the charge for the Wolverines, the 6'3", 220 pounds. Loss on the play, fourth quarter of play. This time it's clean back to pass, and he throws deep down the middle. It is incomplete. Figure, the defensive back made a dive for that ball. It was intended for Scott Miller, the left end, and it was almost intercepted. Simkus put on the... 11:52 to go in the game as Brothers rolls out behind good interference and slips as he tries to turn the corner and goes down the ground at the 22-yard line. The fourth down coming up, 14 yards to go. A lot of the aspects of the Oregon State I formation resembles the old single wing in many swings out to help lead the interference. Back in punt formation is Perkatich. There's the boot by Perkatich. Gets off a fine kick. Linefoot gathers it in on the 35 and moves back to the 46-yard line before he's brought down. 42-yard boot that time. Dick Linefoot is a fellow who injured his ankle severely during the year in the Illinois game. 1,000 yards fewer than the Wolverine offense gained. They've been tough to score on today. Timberlake rolling with the ball. Keeps, gets to midfield, goes out of bounds at the 46-yard line in Oregon State territory. Hartman came over to knock him out of bounds. Michigan, they last appeared in the Rose Bowl, beating California 14-6. They're trying to keep their record unsullied. Timberlake back to pass. Now decides to keep the ball. Back to the line of scrimmage. He goes, keeps going to the 40, to the 35, and tight ropes his way down the right sideline before being knocked out of bounds to the 32 as Norm Whitten finally drove Timberlake out of bounds. It's a first down for Michigan once again.
Bob Wolf, there's one of the reasons why Timberlake was a consensus All-American back. The fella is back to pass.
First and 10. The ball spotted at the 31. Timberlake this time. Hands off to Detweiler. Detweiler goes off the right side and goes forward to the 23-yard line before he's dropped on the play. The blocking was led that time by Butler and by Kine. Osberg came in for the stop. And it's second down coming up. And second and 3. Timberlake flies to his left. Keeps the ball. He's in the 20, the 15, the 10. He's at the 5. Keeps going to the 3. And it's game over for a touchdown. He just kept pulling his way in, dragging two tacklers with him as he went in on the left corner and went over to score. Bob Timberlake going in to score. We pause now for station identification. Now we're getting set for the extra point. There's the boot. And it is good as Rick Figger gets the chance to kick, and he executes it successfully for Michigan. So Rick Figger. And there's time out of the field with the score. Michigan 34, OSU 7. After the kickoff, Oregon State puts the ball in play on the 32-yard line, and Watkins makes the carry from the 32 to the 37. The kickoff, a short one. 2nd and 5, and the ball is in the Oregon State 37. They trail 34-7. Queen in the eye, back to pass, throws down the middle, and is complete to Moreland. Moreland is down at the 48-yard line after making the reception there, as Cicchini and Sigger come up for the stop. A 23-yard touchdown run by Bob Timberlake. Timberlake keeping the score. They went 54 yards in 5 plays. It's 1st and 10 for Oregon State. Queen throws complete to Miller, and Miller is down in his tracks after catching that short pass. Cicchini and Reinfus come up to make the stop of the Wolverine 46-yard line. 4 to go. Shaw in the backfield. And the flags go down before the play gets underway. So there'll be a penalty coming up as it's being stepped off against Oregon State. 2nd and 8 yards to go. In motion goes Watkins. Queen out to pass, looks, throws, and it is incomplete. Intended for Moreland, their flanker back. Yerby came in on the play defensively for the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan on the overall coaching record on the coast over the past 10 years in wins, losses, and ties. Back to pass goes Queen. Throws down the middle, and it is incomplete and almost intercepted. Rick Volk, number 49, made a dive for the ball, almost intercepted off the hands of Moreland, who barely had his fingertips on the ball. This Volk came up, so with 4th down and 9, Oregon State decides to run with the ball, and as they go off the left side, they have not picked up the yardage for the 1st down. Brothers was the runner, and he has run out of bounds after going forward to the 45-yard line of Michigan, but
versus Texas.
All right, we're all set to go as Evashevsky hands up. It's a big hole, and Fisher finds his way through it as he goes forward all the way to the 43-yard line in Oregon State territory for a 1st down. Bilovich makes the stop there. In at the end spots right now, we have Craig Curtin and a halfback, Lee and another halfback, and Evashevsky. Gibbs is to Lee, number 40, waits the 40, and he is down to the 38-yard line. Lewis Lee, who is 6'2", 190 pounds. Bill Muir has gone into the game. Chuck Ruzicka is in. This time the handoff is to Dick Wells, who goes off the left side, moving that ball forward to the 36. Wells' dad, Robert Wells, is on the 1933 Wolverine squad. So we have a brand new Michigan team in there getting their taste. 1st down for the Wolverines. And a plunge up the left side by Fisher is close to the 1st down. Let's see whether or not he makes it as he goes forward for about 2.5 to 3 yards on the play. And they lack it by inches. It's 4th and inches to keep possession of the ball. And there's a plunge by Fisher, which looks like it picked up the 1st down. However, there's an illegal motion signal being given down below on the field as the flag goes down. So Michigan guilty of illegal motion on the play. Dave Fisher scored 2 touchdowns this past year. He's a highly heralded. 4th, little over 5. Evashevsky back to pass. He throws, and it is complete. Breaking the sideline catch, taking the ball out of bounds right with him is Craig Kirby, who caught 6 passes this year, and it's a 1st down for Michigan. Kirby making the catch. Oregon State has experienced the same difficulty today. This time it's Barry DeWitt. He fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Oregon State. Rosario came in to recover that fumble as Oregon State takes over on their own 32-yard line. Dennis Rosario, a big stop. And now it's Oregon State's ball. Here's a pass that is completed at the 42-yard line. Miller, number 87, taking that pass. Gordon Queen doing the throwing.
Mike Bass, number 15, who has also just come in the ball game for Michigan, has been able to gel against the Wolverines in the second half of play. Green back to pass. He's being rushed. He's filled for a loss. Green spilled back to the 34-yard line. Coming in that time with the tackle, Rich Hahn, number 65. Don Bailey, number 55. Hahn, fine tackler, was injured earlier this season, had a knee operation, and he too is back in action. And 19 to go. In motion goes Croston. Queen gives off to Shaw. Shaw's to the 40, and he's still on his feet at the 45 with fine balance, and finally goes down at the 47-yard line. He's an excellent ball carrier. And although he's been injured a great deal of this year, Shaw has been giving a good account of himself.
It was a good running call on that play.
It's 3rd and 6. Queen back to pass. Throws a screen pass to Watkins. Complete. Watkins is at the 40. Watkins to the 35 and the 30. And is knocked out of bounds. He crosses the 30 along the near sideline. Knocked out of bounds to the 26-yard line. Wally Gabler came over to drive him out of bounds. First waning minutes of this football game. Queen directing the team just his last game. And the give this time is to Watkins, who slants off the left side. Watkins going forward to the 23-yard line is met by Dennis Flanagan, number 64 for Michigan spot. It's second down. The Oregon State fans are chanting, we want a touchdown. Queen throws a beautiful catch to Scott Miller, complete at the 14. And this is a particular beautiful play because Miller slipped and fell, and while he was lying on the ground, Queen had to hit him right where he was, and did, right where he had fallen. However, there's a flag on the play, a personal foul against Oregon State for 15 yards. I understand, but he has, and has done a fine job. So it's second down coming up, 15 to go. The ball is on the 40 in Michigan territory. Queen back to pass. He throws to Watkins. Watkins at the 35. Flips as he tries to cut back toward the center of the field and goes down at the 31-yard line. Gary Schick came up along with Barry DeLynn for the stop. At the 31-yard line, there's a minute and 47 seconds left to play in the ball game. Runs out on the Rose Bowl game. Queen back to pass, looks, throws a little flat pass to Shaw. Shaw is at the 30, cuts the corner at the 30, goes to the 25, as he tightropes down the far sideline, is knocked out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Coming over is Clayton Wilhite, along with Lewis Lee to drive him out of bounds there to rack up more points on the scoreboard. 4th and 5. Queen back to pass. He throws, and it is complete. Miller once again latches on the ball. He's driven out of bounds at the 18-yard line. They'll be very close to a first down. We'll see whether or not they pick it up. It's an before this ball game comes to an end, trying to score another touchdown. Waiting for the measurement. First down for Oregon State. So it's 1st and 10 to go. Rolling out is Queen. Keeping at the 5. It's 1st and goal to go. I'd like to thank our spotters this afternoon. Chuck Collins of Michigan, Tom Holly of Oregon State University, both of whom have been fine. Stop the drive. Oregon State trying to score in the last minute of play. Contact is made at the line before the ball is snapped, and the flag
game. Queen back to pass. Flags go down. He throws. Incomplete as flags go down on the play. Rim, the end going out. Looked like there may have been 12 men on the field that time. Queen directing the high formation. Back to pass. He throws to Closton. Closton is at the 7-yard line, and he's tackled there and goes forward to the 5. Back on the play by number 42, Dick Wells. 17 seconds left to go. It's third. To go. Seconds left to play. Queen throws to Miller, and the ball is fumbled after 2. It's a quick pitch right over the center of the line. The pass is ruled incomplete. That stops the clock with 8 seconds to go in the ballgame. 8 seconds left to go in the ballgame. Rim of the right end is spread. Miller flank to the left. In motion is Closton. Queen back to pass. He throws to Closton. Incomplete. The pass was short. And so Michigan holds and takes over with 4 seconds left to go in the ballgame. Michigan takes over with 4 seconds left to go in the game. Bill Muir goes in as the new center for the Michigan Wolverines. To move back off the field as they start to ring the playing field and encroach on the territory. Now we're set. Quarterback keeps the ball. Timberlake, and